This is the live podcast with Manuel, living in full expression. Welcome to the live podcast with me, your host Manuel, and today we're going to be covering something that stops most experts in their tracks, and that is the sales conversation. If you've been following, I'm sure by now you would have attracted someone who is interested, and I've said to you, I'm interested, and then you got freezed and you fumble through an awkward chat, and then you avoid mentioning money, and you end up with something like, just let me know. Does that sound familiar? Today, I'm giving you a simple framework for sales conversation that feels natural and consistently enroll clients without feeling pushy. So, here's the truth. Sales isn't about convincing people, it's about helping them make decisions that serve them. So today, we're going to walk through that. But before we do that, I want to give you a mindset shift. I want you to always know this, that you're not selling, you're serving. When you avoid clear sales conversation, you are actually doing your potential clients a disservice. Someone came to you with a problem you can solve, and by not having a clear conversation about working together, you're leaving them stuck. So, here is what sales means. Sales is helping someone get clear on what they really want, help them understand the gap between where they are and where they want to be, see how your solution bridges that gap, and help them to make confident decisions about investing in themselves. I'm going to take you through some steps of what you want to do to get to help a client. First is the discovery call framework that I'm going to give you. In the first part, you want to connect. When you have gotten in touch with this person, you want to say thank you for making time, and you ask them a follow-up question to say, what prompted you to reach out right now? And this will create a rapport and reveal their true motivation. And the next thing you want to do is understanding their current state. You want to understand their current state. The questions you could ask could be, how long has this been going on with you? What have you already tried? If nothing changes, where will you be in 6 months' time? So you let them talk. You don't rush this. You take them through it. Remember, you're helping them to convince themselves, to be able to find out the answer themselves, to be able to work with you. So it is not you pressuring them to work with you, but you're making them to understand why they need to work with you. And part 3 is desired state. Now you've understood where they are. You want to understand where they want to be. So you could just ask them something like, if we solve this completely, what would that look like? Get specific about what would be different and how they would feel. All right. So you want to ask them how it will look like if everything is solved. That gives them an opportunity to paint a picture. In NLP, it is called future pacing. So you want to give them that opportunity to future pace what the solution they are looking for would look like if the problem is solved. Then the part 4, you want to understand the gap. Now, so you want to ask them something like, you're currently X and you want to be Y. What do you think is keeping you from getting there on your own? So your X is their current situation or current position where they are, and Y is the future or the solution they're looking for. So you want to ask them, what do you think is keeping you from achieving that? This will open them up to tell you about their obstacles, maybe their limiting beliefs. So this will give you an opportunity to also understand why they need help. Remember, you're not convincing them. You're letting them convince themselves on why they need help. Why is this important? If they're able to be the one to decide that they need help, they will go all in. If you convince them, they will have that as an excuse to say, it's because he made me to. And that would make them to not continue with you or not take the step with you. Then the fifth part, which is the last part in this framework, is you want to find out the solution for them. So based on everything you've shared with me, here's how I can help. Remember, this came last, not first. You can't help someone when you don't understand where they are and where they are going and understand what they need to get to where they are going. So that's why this fifth part is coming last. Based on everything you have said, this is how I can help. Now you want to present briefly to say things like, my program is designed for this situation. You mention the situation or maybe their situation, and then we walk through, you mention your framework to get you from their current state to their desired state. Now here is what's included. You can mention your deliverables. What you want to do is you want to give them a clear roadmap of what your program is about and the expected results they would see if they work with you. You don't want to tell them, I'm going to work with you for 6 weeks, for 4 weeks, and then you don't have a roadmap. I know starting out, I made that mistake myself, and I know the impact of that. It becomes vague for the client to see actually the picture of what you're painting. So you want to give them a clear roadmap, the outcomes that they are to expect working with you. So you want to state your price also clearly. The investment is, you mentioned your price. We've talked about prices in our previous episode, how you go about that. And you said this includes, you mentioned the benefits, and I'm confident this will help you. Then you mention the outcomes. Then you do the magic part, which is you stop talking and let them process. Don't try to justify your price. Don't try to say anything further. Allow them to process what you've just said. So let's say they've processed what you've said and they came up with objections. In our previous episode, we've talked about how to handle objections. But in this episode, I'm just going to mention a few of them and give you an idea on what you can say. Number one, they might say, I need to think about it. Your response should be like, absolutely. But what specifically do you need to think about? The investment, the timing, or something about the program itself? So get to the real objection and address it. You don't need to address that now. The next question they could ask could be, I can't afford it. Your response could be like, I understand. If this helped you achieve the outcome, what would that be worth to you? You can also say something like, I offer payment plans. You can say, would X monthly payment work better for you? Remember, the goal here is not to discount for them, but to give them an opportunity to make a payment plan. Thirdly, they might say, I'm not sure if it will work for me. Your response could be like, what specifically makes you uncertain about this program? Address this concern. Then you want to say this to them. You have two options. Invest in solving this with support or continue alone. What feels more likely to get the results? So you're giving them option. You have two options. Either you work with me with a support system and an accountability system that I've put in place, or you continue to do it alone. Because if you had wanted to do it alone, you won't be here in the first place. You needed help and that's why you came. So you want to make them see the reason or the importance of working with you with that support. All right. So after addressing their concerns, you want to ask them for the decision. And this is how you do a direct close. Based on everything we've discussed, does this feel like the right solution for you? Then you keep quiet. Wait for their answer. If yes, that's if they've responded to you yes, wonderful. Let me walk you through the next step. But if they say no, you want to say, I appreciate your honesty. What would need to be different for this to be a yes? If it's truly not right, leave the door open, but move on. I want to tell you this. Don't force them into it. Allow them to say the challenge is. And if they raise other objections, you can know how to address that. So here's a follow-up strategy you can use. 24 hours later after your conversation, you can send something like this to them. Have you had a chance to think things over? Are there questions you want to ask? Day 3 later, you could send something like, I have X spots available for the next month or next 2 months. Let me know by date. You mentioned the date if you would like to move forward. And on the day 7, which should be your final follow-up, you need to say something like, this is my last follow-up. I'm closing enrollment on, you mentioned a date. Let me know if you would like to work together. If not, I completely understand. Remember, 3 follow-ups is appropriate. Then you move on. Here's how you build confidence. Remember, your confidence impacts your conversation rate. So I'm going to give you a few steps on how to build your confidence. Number 1, practice your framework 10 times before real calls. You need to understand your framework. In our previous episode, we talked about how to master saying your prices, your program strategies, your program framework, your plans. So you need to practice this and be acquainted with it. Number 2, know that 30 to 50% conversion is excellent. 5 to 7 out of 10 will say no. And those no's doesn't mean your framework does not work. It could just mean that it is not the right time for them or they are not the right fit for you. Don't blame yourself when somebody says no to your program because you know the transformation they would get with your program. So when people say no, don't feel bad and think maybe because my program is not well or maybe because my program is not okay. It simply means it's not okay for them at that time. So don't take responsibility for that, except you have anything that you're not sure about your program. But if your program has been scheduled for the success of your clients, you don't need to beat yourself up when they say no. The third thing to do is to detach from the outcome. I've just mentioned that briefly. You're here to help them make the best decision for themselves. So when they say no, you can't force them. You don't allow emotion to becloud you. I've had clients who we got to the end of sealing the deal and they say no. I totally understand with them. It could be because of things that came up. And sometimes I ask them for another call. Can we talk over it? And if they are willing to, you talk about it. If they are not, you let them be. And lastly on this, you remember your value. Enrolling them is about their benefit, not yours. So you are there to help them. So see it as I am here to help you. It's like a physician who a sick person goes to. You are the physician. They are the people who are sick and needed your help. So if they don't enroll with you, they are the one who are losing, not you. All right. So here are your action plans. This week, write out your discovery call questions. What questions will you ask your client or whoever you want to engage with, and practice that. Record yourself presenting the solution. You can make a presentation on you delivering that discovery call questions, and then you practice objection response. Practice that out loud. If somebody says this, so you could also write down all the possible objections that might come up because of your program. All right, you can do that and find out what are the possible objections, and then you strategically provide answers to them. Then you can book 3 discovery calls this week. It could be with friends, people around you. Otherwise, you can engage with conversation with people and start by asking them, what is most important to you? Or you could ask, what are you struggling with at the moment? Those questions can prompt them to share their deepest desire with you, and then from there you can pick up a conversation with them. Remember, it starts with human connection and conversation. People will not trust you with their problems, with their issues, if they don't have that connection, that rapport with you. So you want to first of all create that rapport with people so they could trust you to share their deeper problems or deeper issues with you. Remember, in our previous episode, we talked about the three layers of challenges that people face, what they talk about on the public space, how they feel about the problem, what they talk about in the private places, and then what they are afraid about what they are facing. So it's only in the place of trust that they can take you from the surface to the mid level and then to the deeper part of what they are facing. So every no, remember this, is a practice. Every conversation makes you better. So sales is a skill, not a talent. In closing, I would like to say this to you. Sales conversation don't have to feel pushy. When you approach them as service and use a structured frameworks, sales become natural. Your expertise deserve to be in the hand of people who need it. The difference between success and struggle often comes down to this. One person is willing to have the sales conversation, the other isn't. Your ideal clients are waiting for someone confident enough to help them say yes to themselves. So be that person. This has been the live podcast with me, your host Manuel, and until I see you in our next episode, keep living in full expression.